And welcome to the start of yet another state-only or states-only challenge on Madden 23. We had just finished off last weekend the Florida-only challenge. At the end of Season 3, we won the Super Bowl. If you didn't watch that series, a little bit of a spoiler, but definitely suggest you watch it. We really saw the progression, or even a little bit of a regression in terms of Jameis Winston going from being like the guy of the offense to really going down to just being a field general as Cam Akers, as well as a drafted running back in Demarius Traylor, really took over the offense. It was really great to see. But that won us a Super Bowl, so that ended the series. The whole goal, and I always have the rules basically of the challenge down in the description so you can check them out for yourselves. But basically the whole premise of this challenge is to win a Super Bowl by the end of Season 5 with a team built from only one state, meaning you could have any player who played at any college from one state. In certain instances, we will have it be a states challenge where there'll be a small group of states, like what was available for you guys to vote on for the start of this new series, still continuing with the challenge, but with a new either group of states or state, but the thumbnail probably spoiled it. But you guys got to vote. I leave it up to you all, and you have two different polls that basically you could go vote on. On the community tab of this channel, I posted the poll with your options. I also posted that same poll over on Twitter. Now, these two different polls, basically, but same poll, had two different results. But one thing that was the same with both of them is that no one wanted to watch the Pacific Northwest, which was or is Oregon, Washington, Wyoming, and Idaho. That one didn't get any votes. But Georgia did win one of those polls, as well as, I believe it was Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and Hawaii. Was a pretty large group, but try to basically group together states that are close by each other that can raise up the total amount of players available so that they're all about the same. So one poll, Georgia won, and then the other poll, the Utah group won. I guess the Pacific Southwest, they won that one. But combining the votes from each of the community tab on YouTube as well as Twitter, Georgia won. So we'll be seeing if Georgia can win a Super Bowl. And they've put a lot of talent out in the drafts of recent. I want to say they set the record last year for the most amount of players drafted, at least in the first round. So Georgia is going to be the new challenge, which means we only really have one option to be taking over in terms of teams, and that's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. But of course, this is a fantasy draft. And who else would be a better coach for us than the Georgia Tech legend himself, Calvin Johnson? Hopefully he'll be able to put together a good wide receiver core, because in the last challenge, the Florida challenge, it was mainly just the run game. We haven't seen a great passing attack since the Ohio challenge, with guys like Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson really taking over, even Jeremy Ruckert as well at tight end. So hopefully Calvin Johnson can put together a fun offense for us to watch. It'll be a bit different from what we saw with the Florida-only squad. And just like we've done with all the other state-only challenges, we'll be playing on All-Pro rather than All Madden, because primarily, if you have not seen this series before, it is a sim-based series. We will play an occasional play here and there, mostly if there is some coaching decisions, or I don't trust the 2-minute play call kind of thing. I will jump in, play a little bit. There's still plenty of mistakes that I've made, thrown a lot of interceptions, so it's not just going to be, I come in, easy win. We'll be playing on All Pro because that is what Madden is designed to play around, and since it's going to be CPU, that is what we are going to run with. Everything else will stay base besides quarter length, bump it up to 8 minutes. That's what we've done this series on through any of the challenges we've done, and I feel like that puts together a good length of video. Now, one change we are going to do, at least at the start of this series, that'll be different than the others. In the previous first episodes, the first episode has just been the fantasy draft, putting this team together. I'm going to try to help us move along a little bit. We'll watch the first 5 players drafted, and then from there, I'll put the rest of the team together, introduce you to said team, and then we're going to jump right in. I want to get to through at least the first half of season 1 in episode 1 to really get us going, get a sense of what this team is and what we need to do as we move on towards the off season. Spoiler alert from the other ones, none of the first seasons have ever gone great. With Georgia having a lot of talent of recent, that is a possible change. But let's jump into that draft, get the first 5 going, and of course, see what university we have to draft first. And now that we're into the draft, if you have not seen this series prior, this challenge prior, there is one more added addition just to make it a little bit more difficult for me, and that is I can't choose just best player from the state of Georgia right off the get-go. We have to draft all available players from one school first, and I leave that up to the luck of the draw. So as I pull up our spinny wheel, I guess it would technically be me looking this way, but my computer's over here. It has the 4 available FBS teams. FCS I'm not including in there because there's probably not a whole lot of players from FCS. There are some Georgia FCS schools, but we're going to go with FBS. So I will spin the wheel, and we will see who we land on as the team we have to draft for or from first. And it is Georgia Southern. So that is going to limit some of our possibilities as I go back to actually my recording screen. So that means we have 7 players we have to draft, at least according to the cheat sheet I made of all players currently in the NFL from the available schools for us. There are 7 players, none of which include a quarterback. There are only 2 possible quarterbacks from the state of Georgia being from Georgia, and Matthew Stafford and Jake Fromm. So hopefully those guys are still available. But that means that we have to choose our first 5 players from the Georgia Southern Eagles team. So let's see who we have available to us. And on my list, I have a kicker, Young-Ho Koo, who I don't believe is currently on an active roster. I want to say a practice squad in real life. There is also Tyler Bass, another kicker. Kendall Vildor, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is a corner. A defensive end in Raymond Johnson III. Another corner in Daryl Baker Jr., running backs Jerick McKinnon and Matt Breida. So with the first pick in the Georgia-only challenge, we will be bringing in Young-Ho Koo. He's 28, superstar guy with a lot of leg and accuracy, at least in this universe, so that's our number 1 pick. And with the second pick, we're going to go right back to kicker. I'm taking the highest overall, Tyler Bass, 25-year-old, not a superstar, but a star, has about just as much kick power and accuracy. One of these guys might need to play punter. We'll see how well they could do. But those are our first 2 picks. And with our third overall pick, Matt Breida, running back out of Georgia Southern, 27 years old. He has some speed, a little bit of some elusiveness. Can he catch the ball? A little bit, so at least a little bit of a versatility kind of running back for us. Why not? And now with our 4th overall pick, we'll be picking up a 63 overall Raymond Johnson III. Don't know what kind of scheme we're going to be running on defense. Depends on what kind of guys we bring in. He brings to the table a little bit of some power moves, a little bit of block shedding, has some speed, a little bit of strength. At 23 years old, maybe a developmental exterior outside kind of guy, maybe an outside linebacker, maybe a defensive end again, depending on what scheme we end up using. And now in the 5th round, with no other players popping up for us to possibly draft from Georgia Southern yet, we are now open to draft whoever it is that we want from the state of Georgia. So the first thing that I'm thinking is we have to go get Matthew Stafford. He's going to be the best available quarterback for us, potentially for the whole draft. Maybe there's a guy we could actually pick up later in the series through the draft, but for now, he's the best available guy for us. So the 34-year-old vet, star dev, he still has some decent accuracies, pretty good throw power, a little bit of some agility. Maybe he'll bring a little bit of a veteran presence to the offense and help us out as much as possible. So our first non-Georgia Southern player is added to the squad. And now that we're through the first 5 picks, I will go ahead and finish up this roster. And I'll be back with you in like 0.2 seconds to show you who we have. Now let's meet this team. Our highest overall player is going to be Shaq Mason, an 85. So that can just kind of already tell you roughly where this team is sitting. He's 29 years old. We have a few older guys, but I feel like for the most part, we have a lot of young guys that we're going to need to try to develop. We do have a good handful above 30. But I feel like I said, a good chunk of them are going to be on the younger side. At quarterback, we obviously know Matthew Stafford. We also have Jake Fromm. Those are the only two available quarterbacks for us in the NFL. At running back, Jerick McKinnon did end up popping up, and he's a 77 overall, so I don't know why he wasn't available earlier on. Maybe due to age, I'm not sure, but we do have him, James Cook, Matt Breida, and Elijah Holyfield. At receiver, our number one guy is going to be George Pickens. So we're going to see some of the rookies. Unfortunately, not all of them, but some of them. We also have A.J. Green, Albert Wilson, Javon Wims, Terry Godwin, John Hurst, and Penny Hart. At tight end, we'll have Charlie Warner? I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. I'll learn as the series goes along. We also have Lawrence, I'm going to say Kager. That might be wrong. Trey McKitty, and Tyler Davis. At left tackle, we'll have Jamari Salyer, I think is maybe how it's pronounced. He's another rookie. Backing up is Devin Cochran. Left guard, David Andrews moves over from center. Backing up, Justin Schaefer. At center will be Ben Jones. Backing up, Lamont Gilliard and Trey Hill. Right guard will be Shaq Mason, our highest overall player. And right tackle will be a 66 overall Ben Cleveland. So for the most part, the offensive line is solid, but a couple spots that could be improved on. Now where this team is definitely going to need help is going to be in the front seven. Mostly the defensive line. We'll start out with Justin Houston at left and moved him from an outside linebacker to the left end spot, and we will be playing a 3-4. He's only 270 pounds, but he has some decent strength and basically has to play there. Most of our edge guys, outside linebackers or left or right ends, are mostly outside linebackers. We just have to have play here. At right end will be Adam Gotsis, another name I'm going to need to learn how to pronounce. And DT John Jenkins with Tyler Clark backing up. We're very thin along the front group here with a little bit of some depth at the outside spot. Leonard Floyd will get the start with Jordan Jenkins kind of backing up. We'll talk about injuries in a moment. Now the middle linebacker group is very young, and I think most of these guys would have probably played together at college, and they're all from Georgia. So we'll have Nakobe Dean, Tay Crowder, Monty Rice, and Channing Tindall? Another one, but maybe I'll learn to pronounce. Right end will be Lorenzo Carter. Backing up will be Raymond Johnson III. Moved him over from an actual left or right end to fill out the depth basically for the outside linebackers. At corner, we'll have Tyson Campbell, second year corner. He's an 80 overall. Hopefully he'll grow really well. We would have Eric Stokes also be one of the starters, but again, there's some injuries that are carrying over from the real life season. So we'll instead be Chandon Sullivan on the outside and maybe DeAndre Baker in the slot. Those two maybe will switch around. We'll see who plays best where. There's also Darian Kendrick and Darrell Baker Jr. At free safety is Kendall Vildor. He was a corner. We moved him over to free safety. We figured that would be the best spot, and we needed help at that spot. Backing up will be Tariq Carpenter, Mark Webb Jr., and J.R. Reed. At strong safety would be Lewis Seen, but again, some injuries, so it will be Sean Williams starting this year with Juanye, maybe? Juanye? Not sure. Thomas will be the backup there. And we do still have both of the kickers, Younghoe Koo and Tyler Bass. I feel like we have to carry at least both of them to the trade deadline, where at that point, maybe we look for someone to fill out an area of desperate need. Because we did end up bringing in kicker Jake Camaranda, who was a rookie. And obviously, I've been talking a little bit about injuries. There are pre-existing injuries that were turned on for the start of this, just to represent the lack of growth that would be equivalent to real life. So we kept those on. We have had some injuries while this series has kind of been going, I guess, some of the setup, basically preseason. But a lot of injuries to talk about here. Matthew Stafford will not be starting week 1. He is out for 2 weeks. So Jake Fromm will start the first 2 games. Nakobe Dean, our starting middle linebacker, he will be out the first 3 games. And I'm not sure yet on what I'm going to do with Lewis Seen. If I want to keep him in and he'll be able to play basically the last game, maybe the last 2 games, or if we just put him on IR. If we end up needing the space on roster, we'll probably end up putting him on IR and maybe bringing him back at a later point. Just wanted to keep that option open for this first year. Past those 3, the rest are out for the year, including our number 2 corner and Eric Stokes. We'll have him for season 2. Jordan Jenkins is a backup outside linebacker for us. He will be out again this entire year. We'll be turning 29. We might not get to see him play very much because he'll probably regress a decent bit. And then 4th string running back Elijah Holyfield, brought him in as a power back, maybe a fullback option for us. And he is out for the entire year as well. He is only 24, so his time with the team may not be over, but we'll see. But speaking of next year, let's talk a little bit about the draft. And in terms of draft picks that we have available for us is a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 2 4ths, and 2 7ths. And speaking of draft class, or drafting, the draft class itself isn't looking too great. And once again, we can only draft players, sign players. Anyone on the team has to have played at a university in Georgia. So for the first draft class, we have a grand total of 8 available players. So not a whole lot that we can really do. But like I said, we have the 1st through the 4th, including 2 4ths, but then 2 7s, no 5th or 6th round. And we only have 1 potential guy who could be a 1st round player, and Brandon Kellum, a left tackle. We do have a need at tackle, so that could possibly work out well. In terms of some mid-round picks, there is a running back, John Burris, out of Georgia, round 2 to 3. At this point, I don't think we'll need a running back, but there's someone we could take. There is also a linebacker, don't know if that's going to be an edge rush, or maybe a possible interior linebacker, and Damian Claiborne, also out of Georgia, round 2 to 3. There is a day 3 tackle again in DeAndre Burgess, and a receiver in Carl Glenn. Our biggest needs is going to be on the defensive line, potentially quarterback. We don't know how long we're going to have Matthew Stafford, because the only other guy, like I said, is Jake Fromm. So those are the 2 big worries. We also have a lot of older guys at receiver we could look to get younger at. But I think the biggest needs are going to be both of the lines and quarterback. Those are the ones I really want to look at. Unfortunately, not the zero quarterback options, not even a potential undrafted in this class. So hopefully in the next draft class we'll have some quarterback options, but for now it's Matthew Stafford or Jake Fromm. But that is enough of the building time. It's now time to see what this team can do in the first game out on the field. We're a 73 overall across the board. So let's see what this Georgia-only squad has in store for us.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough, you wanna hate this, but don't show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh- I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh- I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative.
And it'll be the defense up first. So let's see what this squad can do. Running again that 3-4 defense, just to try to give us the best amount of players, the best possible players out there. But the Saints go for about a gain of 15 to 20 yards. Yeah, 20 yards exactly. Play 1, Jalen Hurts, the cornerback, finds Waring, the tight end. And then they'll immediately go to a heavy set fullback out there, 2 close tight end, maybe receivers up top will be a stretch to the bottom, and not getting around the edge. That was ETN, and then that was Floyd who got the tackle. We're going to need to learn these new numbers. Calvin Johnson, the head coach, for his first game coaching. See how well he could do. Shotgun set for Hurts. Will be a draw down the middle. Etienne with a juke. Gets by the first guy, but it'll only be a gain of about 1, maybe 2. And again, important to note, we are missing a starting safety, corner, and middle linebacker on this defense. So hopefully we'll be able to still put something good together. Hurts going to roll out, scramble, will throw to Etienne, but will not get the first down. 5 yards shy, brought down by number 48. Don't know the name yet. That was Tay Crowder with the tackle, and they will have to punt this one away. And as we start backed up at the 11, the big storyline for the offense is Matthew Stafford is out. He's injured, will be injured for this game as well as the next. So we'll see Jake Fromm at quarterback. Run down the middle goes McKinnon, loss of 1. And we'll let Jarek be the number 1 guy for a little bit and have the younger brother Cook as the number 2. But as the series goes along, I would like to get Cook to be the number 1 guy. But how about this pass from Jake Fromm? AJ Green down the sideline. Who had that to be the first touchdown of the series? Because I definitely did not, but a heck of a pass from the low overall quarterback to the veteran receiver. Well, that ended up being about a 90-yard touchdown pass. Not all of it through the air. Some of that was just A.J. Green with some speed still left in the tank. But a great start, and even better here as we continue. Loss of 2. I believe that was maybe Monty Rice with the tackle. And of course, Monty Rice getting the start due to the injury to Nakobe Dean. Sorry, I want to say Nakobe Jones for some reason, but yeah, Nakobe Dean as Hurts scrambles to the bottom. We had a defender there who ran away from Hurts, but will finally get brought down by Floyd. 3rd and 1. As they come out with a heavy set, 3 tight ends out there. 2 to the bottom, 1 up top. Will be a stretch. We have some guys there, but not going to bring down the number 2. No, he's still Etienne Jr. Could have sworn they had a number 1 running back on the first drive. But I'd apparently be wrong as they'd come out with another heavy set. Looks like a offensive lineman at the very bottom of the formation. Will be a run to the top of the screen. He'll cut in, still up on his feet, but should have went to the outside or stayed to the top. Plenty of running room there. But at least we'll bring up a 2nd and 2 with 2 running backs in the backfield with Hurts. And a motion over the receiver up top. Will be a pass play. We had an instant pass rush, but they, I guess, decided not to run at the quarterback. It was instead thrown as a screen for maybe a net gain of 0. Be another 3rd and short for Hurts. And down the middle they go. Etienne not going to get there whatsoever. Number 96, is that Gotsis? It is. Don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but he got the stop. We'll end up having to punt this one back to our offense. And since we really didn't get to see much of a full drive last time with a quick score, we'll watch one more drive on offense before we do any sort of quick simming, and that good throw away from Fromm. Pass rush was coming in, he got rid of it. That's a heck of a stat line for him today, though. 1 of 2 for 91 yards and a touchdown. It's not too bad. Dropping back again, pass across the middle, caught by Jarek, and about a 9-yard gain. Yeah, 3rd and 1. And on this kind of down is when I would really like to see, I'm going to say it's James Cook. We'll probably end up subbing him in a little bit more in the second half. This is going to be a catch, another first down. I guess the only first down, because we haven't really had one with the 90-something touchdown pass. That one goes to Wims for a gain of 7 in the first. And I am using the Atlanta playbook to start off for both offense and defense. We'll see how it works. In the run game so far, not great. We've ran the ball twice for a net loss of 4 yards. I'd like to see that change as the season goes along. Fromm with a quick pass to the outside, caught by the tight end. Can't remember who we have as the starting tight end because they're all very similar. Yeah, Warner, something like that. But that is the end of the first quarter. And a good time for it as we have to come up with a play to get a first down on 3rd and 12. So we will spread wide. Looks like 3 receivers to the bottom. Our tight end up top of the line will be a pass from Fromm, who's sitting in the pocket. Pass rush comes in, and he is thrown down. Second time getting close to it, but actual first sack for that time by Simmons. I'm just stumbling around. We're going to have to punt. So we'll jump into a little bit of some quicker sim as we still have a good bit of times of the season. Want to get, like I said, about to the week 8 maybe, and then we'll start next episode with a trade deadline situation maybe. But the Saints moving down the field this time inside the 40, now inside almost inside the 25. Pass thrown away. Now knocked away by Leonard Floyd. 3rd and 10. Incomplete pass, going to force the field goal attempt. And that one is good. Make it a 7-3 game. We'll continue on in a little bit of the quicker sim. Finally, some net positive for Jerick McKinnon. Gets close, does give us the first down. Warner with the catch. Gain of 8. Big catch again for A.J. Green, already over 100 yards on the day. Offense moving pretty well with Jake Fromm at quarterback. Maybe the quarterback situation isn't as bad as I was thinking it could possibly be. Knock on wood. Pass dropped by Pickens. 3rd and 6. Thrown away by Jake Fromm. Will end up taking the field goal here. Put us up by 7. And we'll start this drive also in quick sim. Leonard Floyd with the sack. They'll get 5 yards back on the next play. 3rd and 13. Another sack by Leonard Floyd. Well, we know who's the sack leader so far. And since we're sitting at about the 2-minute warning, let's see what this offense can do before half. I would love to go up by 2 scores. Pass right down the seam. Nice little juke. And I tell you what, A.J. Green, I didn't think he would be our number 1 guy. Would have sworn it would have been Pickens. But so far, it's Green all day. He'll get us past midfield to about the 39, 38. Will be another pass to the top and in double coverage. Gonna get picked off. First bad pass we've seen from Fromm, and he really forced that one to Pickens. We'll watch until halftime here. See if maybe the Saints can tie it up before half. Hurts starting with a pass to the top of the screen. Caught and then goes out of bounds. The receiver, number 9, maybe a possible tight end. Who knows? But it will bring up a 2nd and 5. About a minute, 20 seconds left on the clock. Gonna need a scramble to avoid the rush. The penalty flag is thrown. Hurts scrambles for the first, sliding down at about the 25. Well, that one is gonna get backed up. Holding on Braden Smith. I'll put him back at the 8. Now a minute 15 left on the clock. 2nd and 14. Hurts gonna roll to the top of the screen. Look for someone open and a first down catch. Number 11, I think it was, and they're going to call a timeout. And that was Julio Jones actually with the catch. Will be a pass here from Hurts. Going to roll to the top and chuck it downfield, but a good 5-ish, maybe even more yards away from his intended receiver. But now that we have started a new series, we have all the updated overalls for all the players. So Hurts is playing with the overall equivalent to how he's been playing in real life. Pass here to ETN, be a medium gain, maybe about 5-6 yards, maybe actually 7. And 3rd and 3 will be a shotgun tight formation here. Hurts gonna roll again to the bottom. Doesn't look like we have anyone there, and he could have just ran for it, but why not when you have 9 wide open down the sideline to tie this thing up before half? Allen Lazard. And why not? 32 seconds left before half. Let's come out here for our first possession with the team. Try to see what it is that they can do. We have Jerick to the sideline. Pass a little underthrown, easily knocked away. And of course, one thing we have to realize with Fromm, doesn't have the best arm, so we need to be a little cautious about where we're throwing. Try to set up this receiver screen to Jerick McKinnon, who just gets stuck on his blockers. And we're really not getting anywhere. So we'll have one more play here, maybe see if Jerick can just sprint downfield one-on-one against a really good corner. Probably not the best choice. How about we toss this one up to Green? Pass underthrown, intercepted. Get the tackle, head on through half. And we will begin the second half with a little bit of some quicker sim just to try to see what we can do and get on into the 4th quarter. Moving fairly steady, 3rd and 6. As soon as I say that though, drive stalls, we end up punting away. Saints with a guy's first down play, and then ETN 70 yards to the house. Both of these teams have had some really big plays in this game. Not a whole lot of scoring, 17-10. Defense is playing okay. Pass thrown away. 3rd and 4 for Fromm. Thrown away again. Offense has definitely stalled since that first drive. Good punt there from the rookie. First down from Lazard, who had that big touchdown for him before half. 3rd and 4. Penalty on DeAndre Baker, who is playing due to the injury to Stokes. I'll put him towards midfield, a little past midfield now. Etienne Jr. putting in some work. Watson, gain of 5 on first down. Jalen Hurts then throws away. 3rd and 5, 15 yards. Julio Jones converts inside the red zone, but a penalty backs them up. Probably holding. Thrown away. Can the defense stand here? Force the field goal attempt. First down given up. 1st and goal. Touchdown, Zamir White. Well, if there's any chance of us winning this game, we need some points on this drive. Currently down 14. Fromm will throw here to the sideline. Jerick McKinnon with the catch. Loss of about 2 yards. And while Fromm's day started off pretty well, he's now sitting a little, I think, just over 50% completion on the day. So not great. Jerick with the run and maybe another loss of 1. And an injury to our tight end as well. It's from bad to worse. So our number 2 tight end will come in, who is strictly a receiving tight end. Don't expect him to block whatsoever, which will be fine for 3rd and 13 as we go to the sideline. What a catch from Pickens. Jumping up, skying up, getting the catch in double coverage, converts for the Falcons. Keep this drive alive, keep our hope alive. Some more, not empty, but shotgun set. From to the top of the screen, coming back for it is Pickens once again, maybe starting to get some things going, but only goes for a gain of 2. He has been pretty silent. There was a wide receiver mentorship in the preseason about him just not being able to hold on to passes, so hopefully we could get that corrected. Nice thrown ball to that number 2 tight end, but he couldn't find it. The DB, maybe linebacker, able to easily knock that one away. Now, 3rd down has not been good for this team so far today. They have a 3rd and 8, but a nice play design there gets number 80 wide open. Don't know who that is yet. Godwin. Trey Godwin, I think it was. Will get us past midfield inside the 45 to start the 4th quarter. As the 3rd quarter comes to an end, we're still down 14. So we'll start going under center. 2 receivers to the bottom, a tight end also down there. Will be a run down the middle. Jerick McKinnon, be about a solid gain of 5, 10 rushes, 3.1 yards to carry. Nothing fantastic. I would like the running backs to be a little mixture of like basically a little bit of some run, but also a good bit of receiving backs. That's kind of the way that I had built them in the fantasy draft. And it does look like Kager is still in at tight end. Kadger, maybe? I need to look up, see how to exactly pronounce it. But it might be a significant injury for our starting tight end. Jerick McKinnon makes it more manageable. 2nd and 7 with a 3-yard rush. 2 receivers either side here for Fromm. We'll throw to the bottom, all the way to the bottom, caught. And a little bit of a late hit there, no penalty down. I want to say that's the first catch for number 84, who's maybe Albert Wilson? That's one of our receivers. Jerick McKinnon to the bottom and to about the 5. Pretty quick tackle there from the Saints defense. Fromm looking for maybe his 2nd touchdown of the day. And it does look like Cook is in at running back. That's where we hand it off to. He will get what he can. About a gain of 2 for 3rd and 3 at the 3. Have maybe about a half a yard prior to the goal line for the first down. But it looks like it'll be a shot for the end zone. Fromm dancing, throws late, comes out super wobbly and out of the back of the end zone. I kind of want to jump in here with the team, make sure they go for it. So 4th and 3. We have a bunch to the right-hand side here. All some quick stop routes. And they do a pretty good job of covering all of it. We'll have to toss this one out late and ends up getting intercepted. And this could be returned. Wims trying to pursue, but there's no catching him. This will be a pick 6, putting this game away. So we'll finish out this game in the quicker sim. Nice 27-yard grab for Pickens, 15 more. Pass thrown away by Fromm. Knocked away by Deion Jones. 3rd and 10. Thrown away again. Do we go for it? We do, and Terry Godwin gets the first down. So I think did I say Terry Godwin earlier? Maybe I was close, but another interception. This time to Kaiser White. This game definitely not very good after the first possession we had with the 91-yard touchdown. Just haven't been able to do anything since that point. Fromm has shown signs of being able to put something together, but definitely doesn't have it. Pickens has improved throughout the game. 3 straight catches of 20-plus yards. Can we get him a touchdown? Thrown away. Under a minute left on the clock, and the touchdown goes to Charlie Warner. So he's back. So not a serious injury. And he'll get at least a touchdown on his stat sheet, but we miss the extra point with Young Hoku. And apparently we went for the onside kick. Not really sure why. This game was definitely well away. And they take a kneel down, and that should just about do it. The first game does not go in the favor of our Georgia-only squad. Again, we're a 73 overall across the board, with some of our best players out injured, either for a little bit of time or for the year. So year one, I don't expect a whole lot. But since week 1, things have kind of been a little topsy-turvy, you know, some better, some not so much. We have not or did not win a game with Jake Fromm. We end up losing to the Rams week 2 by 27-24, so only 3 points. So not an awful game. We'll take a quick look at the stats just to highlight what we were able to do. Jake Fromm threw a touchdown. Did he have it? Yeah, about the same completion percentage of around 50%. Now, this game and on, we did put James Cook as the starting running back for all the different running back positions. And in his first game, he did pretty well. Averaged about 4.5 yards a carry and had a touchdown. George Pickens also had a pretty good game, 85 yards and a touchdown. We saw some pretty good play from our middle linebackers, both being the leading tacklers. Tay Crowder had 12 with Monty Rice with 10. We did get 2 interceptions in that game, Sean Williams and DeAndre Baker. And we were a bit in the backfield here and there, 2 tackles for a loss by Tay Crowder and then 1 for Monty Rice and Justin Houston. But in the first 2 games back with Matthew Stafford, we won both of those games. The first one being against a Seahawks team led by Patrick Mahomes. We won 31-28. And in his debut on this series, Matthew Stafford threw 4 touchdowns, 1 interception for 257 yards and completed 62% of his passes and was sacked once. James Cook, not as good of a second day, only 3.8 yards a carry. But the tight end showed up, 113 yards for Charlie Warner. Warner? I still need to look that up. Did have a touchdown. Javon Wims in the slot had 2 touchdowns. And Matt Breida had 1 in the receiving game. We were led in tackles again by Monty Rice, his last time actually being one of the starting linebackers because Nakobe Dean came back for week 4. But once again, we were in the backfield quite a lot. And in this game, Lorenzo Carter ended up going from a normal dev up to a star dev. He needed 2 tackles for a loss or a sack or anything like that. And he got 3 tackles for a loss and a sack. Also, Justin Houston, 2 tackles for a loss and a sack. And then Monty Rice, Leonard Floyd, Sean Williams, and Adam Gotsis. They all had a tackle for a loss. And the corner-turned safety, Kendall Vildor, did get an interception. And in week 4, we do get another victory, 21-16 against the Cleveland Browns. Another pretty solid game from Matthew Stafford, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, was also sacked once, about 250 yards, and completed only 58% of his passes. Now, I think in this game, it put Jerick McKinnon back as the starting running back, and once again, not very good. It's one thing Madden does a lot, which is really annoying, is change your depth chart without you telling it to. So, always keep an eye out on that. In the receiving game, though, George Pickens, really good game, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the third-string tight end got a touchdown. So that's fun. We were led in tackles by 2 players, Tyson Campbell and Sean Williams. You don't really want your DBs being the top 2 guys in the tackle board, but It's fine. Lorenzo Carter, another 3 tackles for a loss, with Justin Houston, Chandon Sullivan, and John Jenkins each getting 1. We're actually led in sacks on this day by Leonard Floyd with 2, Carter had 1, and Houston had 1. And Nakobe Dean, second game back, he had an interception. But since then, haven't been able to get back in the win column. We drop a game against the Buccaneers 42-34, so a close game, but not quite close enough. And then we also drop one to the 49ers 31-24. So the losses, when we have our starting quarterback Matthew Stafford, they're close, about a 1-score loss. But we gave up 5 touchdowns in the Buccaneers game to Daniel Jones. Stafford had a lot more yards, almost 400, but 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, was sacked 5 times, completed 65% of his passes. James Cook back in that starting spot, under 3.5 yards a carry, but at least had a touchdown. Javon Wims was actually our number 1 receiver in this game with 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. AJ Green is upset he's not receiving as many targets as he would like, but we're trying to develop some younger guys, so he's not the number 1 guy. He did, however, have 76 yards and a touchdown. On defense, Tay Crowder led us in tackles with 9. And once again, in the backfield a little bit, 4 tackles for a loss, 1 for Crowder, Williams, Floyd, and Houston. And only 1 sack, this time from Lorenzo Carter, so continually Carter is in the backfield. And Nakobe Dean, 2 interceptions in 1 interception in back-to-back weeks, so 2 total interceptions. And in the 49ers game, Matthew Stafford threw 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. So each game that he's thrown multiple interceptions, we've lost. They've been close, but maybe, that 1 interception doesn't happen. Tie game, maybe we win, who knows. But he had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a little over 300 yards throwing, was sacked 4 times, and only 60% completion percentage. James Cook just shy again of that 3.5 yards a rush mark, but once again had a touchdown. George Pickens, the number 1 receiver for us in terms of yardage with 88, but the touchdowns went to Wims and AJ Green, so at least back-to-back weeks with a touchdown for Green. And once again, Tay Crowder, top of the tackle board, so that's good development for the young guy. A lot of tackles for loss in this game, 3 for Houston, 2 for Carter, and then 1 for Crowder, Floyd, Baker, Vildor, Sullivan, and Williams. However, no sacks, so not great. But we do get another interception, this time to Tyson Campbell. And Young Ho Koo ended up missing an attempt here, a field goal attempt. And you might have also noticed that our other kicker is no longer on here. I had left on autofill roster, forgot to turn it off, and it ended up cutting him to bring in a player to replace a player who was injured for 1 week. I made sure to turn that off now, so it shouldn't happen anymore. So we unfortunately no longer have one of our top 2 picks from the fantasy draft. I was hopefully going to try to use him and maybe some picks to maybe make a trade after this week. We'll see if that's still possible for us. But this leaves us at week 7 against the Cincinnati Bengals. The defense has improved throughout the first half of the season. They're now up to a 75 overall. We have not been able to watch any games with Matthew Stafford, so I at least want to get in and watch a bit of this second half. And as we jump in here to the Bengals game, into the second half, it's a complete blowout right now. 26-0, Bengals up. This should mean we should see a good bit of Matthew Stafford throwing the ball. First play goes to Pickens, about a gain of 8-9 yards. And Matthew Stafford is 5 of 12 for 37 yards. So either this Bengals team just has a really good secondary or good pass rush. Not a good run there from Cook. Stumbles over his own offensive lineman and gets nothing. So that leaves us with 3rd and 1. Bunch to the bottom, 1 lone up top. Hard count, no one jumps. Stafford sitting in the pocket. We'll find Pickens, but pass knocked away. And I'm not too worried about watching the defense. It's 26-0. I want to see what Matthew Stafford can do. So we'll just quick sim on through it. Defense actually gets a stop. We'll be getting the ball back at a decent spot, and AJ Green will move us forward 17 yards. So let's settle on into this drive as well. We'll probably watch the remainder of the offensive drives and not much of the defensive drives unless we end up somehow getting a miraculous comeback. Pass underneath, caught. Is that McKitty? Maybe? Who knows? Either way, gain of 7 as we'll continue under center here with Stafford. Will be a stretch to the top. Pretty good job there from Cook, at least following his blocks. He is just a normal dev, so not to the tier of his brother, but hopefully can still be a solid running back for us. 1st and 10 at the 46, or just shy of the 46. Will be another stretch to the top. Plenty of running room there to the outside and close to the first. The refs will give it to us. That should definitely help out his average as we cross midfield down to about the 45 as you go with the toss to the bottom. Cut that in. You got to find the first hole that's possible. 5 rushes, only 9 yards following the loss of 3. So maybe this offensive line isn't as good as we were thinking it could be. It'll be another stretch to the bottom, spin move back inside. Well, at least fight forward, get a gain of 4. But at least for the most part, from what I've seen, at least in the last few games, offense struggling a little bit. Definitely haven't seen a 26-0 game though. 3rd and 9. Stafford dropping back, pass rush coming in and will hit home. Sack there from Jones will end this drive. 4th and 22, you know we're punting. So back to defense, 10 yards to start. Austin Hooper gives them close to the first down, but then we get a loss of 2, so 3rd and about 2.5. Convert with the extra few yards on that. 1st and 10, a penalty on Tay Crowder. I'm assuming maybe a defensive pass interference. 1st and 10, 6 yards to Henderson. 2nd and 4, pass thrown away by Andy Dalton. 3rd and 4, converted Christian Kirk, gain of 6. And now we'll start the 4th quarter. 1st and 10, gain of 6 from Henderson. 2nd and 4, gain of 1, be a 3rd and short. Sack by Nakobe Dean will at least force a field goal attempt, which we block. Okay. So at least the defense playing much better this second half, but can the offense get going in the 4th? At least get out of the goose egg, get at least a field goal on the board. But Stafford does have 1 interception on the day, only 50% completion for under 100 yards, so nothing good so far. Hard count, no one jumps. It'll be a pass at the top of the screen, caught. 1st down, Jerick McKinnon to about the 39. We'll stay shotgun as I expect we will for the remainder of the game. Bunch to the bottom, tight end up top. Setting up the screen pass to the running back in. Completely blown up. Running back couldn't even get out of a block pretty much. Empty set here for Stafford now. Bunch to the bottom, 2 up top. Will be a pass all the way to the top. Jerick McKinnon will get the catch, fight through a guy, and get the first and out of bounds. I kind of like him out there at the receiver spot. I don't think he has great ratings to be a true receiver, but if it works, it works. Another pass, Stafford knocked away, intended for Pickens. We'll force a 2nd and 10 as we come out empty set. 2 receivers to the top, the rest down to the bottom. Short drop back, pass across the bottom, and a pretty good grab there from Wins. Diving one-handed, under really good coverage as well. We'll force a 3rd and 1. I expect a run here from Cook. We have a bunch up front, or a tight formation, I should say. Going to send the tight end in motion, who's just shoved off, but plenty of running room. But maybe a lack of ball carrier vision there is why he was kind of dancing around an open field rather than just running straight for the end zone. But we at least convert the 1st down, keep this drive alive. Back to shotgun we go. Stafford hard count, no one jumps. Be a handoff down the middle, and he keeps running directly into blocks. Hopefully we could fix that with some upgrades to the ball carrier vision if we could get those. Gonna motion over that tight end once again, be a run down the middle. Good blocking up front too. If we could have just kept Bobby Okereke out of it a little bit longer. 3rd and 4, back to shotgun. 2 to the top, 1 to the bottom. Actually, I guess 3 to the top. We go for the tight end who had a blocker out in front. 4th and inches. I want them to go for it. So on 4th and 1, we have Breida out at fullback. We're going to hand this one off to Cook down the middle. Pretty good blocking, but not quite into the end zone. Down to the 1. Well, that does, however, give us a fresh set of downs. So we'll see if they can knock this one in. Looks like a goal line set. Hard count, no one jumps. We go for a pass to a wide open tight end. I believe that is McKitty. in for a touchdown, what might be his second, I believe, of the season. Well, at least get rid of the goose egg, putting us on the board 26-7. And after a failed onside kick, they're already going to be starting in plus territory. Get a gain of 4 with Henderson as we hit the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 1, first down. So we definitely skipped a play there. But either way, first down. Penalty on Justin Houston gets them down to about the 10. Down to about the 1 with the 9-yard rush. And a touchdown for Travis Homer. Under a minute left. We block another kick at least. That's apparently something we could do. Just get on through this game. AJ Green, 14 yards. Pass thrown away by Stafford. 2nd and 10. Sacked by Dante Fowler Jr. 3rd and 14. Another sack, this time by Aaron Donald. We'll punt this one away. No, we went for it. Just nowhere close to getting it. Dalton kneels, and that is a wrap for episode 1. We built the team. We saw a little bit of action. There's clearly some more room to grow on this team, but there's some young potential on the roster, and hopefully some guys, some veteran guys, can stick around long enough without regressing too much and help us get a Super Bowl dub. But luckily, we have until the end of Season 5, only halfway through Season 1, so plenty of time to let some of these young guys progress, get better, bring in some other guys to really help fill out the roster. Episode 1 leaves us at 2-5. That's about what I've come to expect for the first series or first season of each of these state-only challenges. So about right on track, pretty much. We will stop here week 8. We have the potential to make maybe one trade. I don't think we have a whole lot of trade candidates on our roster that we could send in terms of like send a player for a different player. Maybe we could send some picks. I'll take a look in between episodes at some available positions of need. Offensive line, I think, is a possibility. Defensive line is a possibility. Trying to find a young defensive tackle to maybe build around. I would love to have Davis on the roster. He is a rookie, so trading for him year 1 with that hidden development trait, not possible. Maybe year 2, year 3, we could bring him in though. So hopefully he is on this roster at some point. But those are 2 different spots I think we could maybe use some help at. But we also have to remember we have some good guys who are just injured and out for the year. So the team will get better without us making any adjustments as we get on to next season. But to make sure you don't miss out on what future happens here with the Georgia Only Challenge, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. And go ahead and tick that little bell icon to be notified of when these videos go live. 2 series currently running. This one, the Georgia Only Challenge, that will be posted every Wednesday and Saturday. I also have a traditional Madden franchise series with the Arizona Cardinals. That one is posted on Monday and Thursday, so you can check that one out as well. And as the new year approaches, let me know if there's any other games, any other sport games, or maybe other kind of adventure or something kind of games you guys would like to see in the new year. So, a lot to come. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.